Oh, hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about, drumroll please, that was a stupid drumroll, but we're going to be talking about Dabi from My Hero Academia. What are we going to be talking about with Dabi? Well, that's a good question. We're going to be talking about his quirk and basically how he became a villain. To mention, and the reason why he became. We all know that Dabi is a villain from the LOV, also known as the League of Villains. Well, the question is why? He's just really purple and pruny, which we're also going to get into why he's purple and pruny in the first place. Also, why Dabi even became a villain in the first place. Well, the reason why he became a villain is because he wanted to get revenge on his father and just take down his whole hero legacy. And he became a villain is because he saw Stain and got inspired. And Dabi reveals himself on a Nomu, or in this case it looks like a mountain, but he reveals himself as Toya Todoroki, Endeavor Pro Hero number 1, oldest son. And the reason why Dabi became a villain in the first place is because he was neglected and abused by his own father. Which, yeah, makes sense. Now, people may be wondering, why was he neglected and abused? Well, because Shoto, who is now the perfect child, was born. And he really sought to surpass All Might through his children, which is why he got into a marriage quirk with Rhea. When he was born, Endeavor focused solely on Toya as the first potential successor, ignoring his own emotional needs. Endeavor was really focused on trying to get his own successor that he even had 4 children. Wait. Yeah, 4 children. And what he didn't know was Dabi was really his successor all along. The little hints and details was there too. From him having his own mother's ice resistance to even having his hair turn white after a little while. Now let's get on to Dabi's quirk. Dabi's quirk is fire, and his quirk is even so strong that it's way too strong for his own body. It burns him and even burnt him alive almost. He used his power just so he can get his own father Endeavor to notice him. And even after 3 years in a coma after being burned alive at 13 with his own quirk, he still wanted to see if his father even acknowledged him. His father abandoned him on Sakado Peak. He went into a mental breakdown, which led him to not be able to control his quirk, basically, and just burn in a massive flame of his own fire. He had him in only bones, but he was actually saved and rebuilt by Dr. Yujiko. After he woke up from the 3-year coma, after being saved from Dr. Yujiko, he then went back home and tried to see if anything was familiar, if anything changed. After he saw that nothing changed at all, he thought, wait, did they forget about me? And he saw his altar and decided to pray for it, which then he got the name Dabi. And it's like a nod to his past burning. And he joined the League of Villains, driven by intense hatred and desire to make Endeavor suffer, viewing his family as tools. Dabi's villainy stems from deep-seated trauma and resentment for the abuse and neglectfulness he endured, wanting to expose his father, hypocrisy, wanting to just destroy the hero society itself. In 6, and Dabi actually did reveal himself and destroy his father's image during the Paranormal Laboration War. This then leads us to the question, how did Dabi even survive after that fire? Well, it's because of All For One. All For One took him in and to like a Nomu hospital basically, and that's where he was in a coma for like so long. And even why All For One even took Dabi in the first place was so that he can take his quirk. But after he found out that Dobby's quirk hurts his own body and is way too strong, he decided to just not take his quirk at all. Dobby in the hospital and searched to find a new vessel, basically, which is how Dr. Yujiko rebuilt him. And he didn't just rebuild him normally, no. They rebuilt him using Nomu skin. And how they use Nomu skin is by just using other people's skin and molding it into a shape. In that fire, though, Dabi lost his jaw, which in that case is full Nomu skin. And he has the staples because it can stay intact and won't fall off. But if he uses fire too much, it will eventually burn off. When he woke up from the hospital, though, everyone was shocked because Dr. Yujiko said he might not even make it alive. Even Dabi himself was wondering how he was alive. And after a little while, Dabi started to walk around and everyone else saw him and he saw what he was in. He immediately thought that he had to go home and that it wasn't safe there, or maybe not safe, but like, you know what I mean. They wouldn't let him leave. And the reason why they wouldn't let him leave is because his body was still too weak and unable to really do much. After a while of trying to leave, All For One said something through a intercom, making Dabi crazy mad and burned the whole place down. After he left, he started wandering around and trying to find any sort of familiar thing that looked familiar to him. And he led him to his home and how he even made the name Dabi in the first place. And he had severe hatred on his father and more hatred on Shoto when he was little, mainly because Shoto had all the attention that he never really got at all, which led him to almost burn Shoto alive with jealousy. In season 6, Dabi and Shoto get into a big fight, but Shoto, before the months of the events, started planning a new skill, a new power move, which Dabi was able to copy in less than 5 minutes. And if you're wondering, well, how the hell did Dabi copy that if you need a fire and ice quirk to do that? Well, we're gonna get into that. So in the anime, Dabi only shows his fire. Yes, fire. Only fire. But the thing is, it burns his body because he inherited his mother's ice resistance, which is basically a low quality of heat damage. The reason why his fire burns him in the first place. And that ice resistance soon turns into a full-on blown ice crystal coming out of his chest, signaling that he actually had a secret ice quirk. And he shows right here. And Endeavor saw this and immediately regretted everything because it basically symbols that they did all of that work for literally nothing. And even why it even happened like that in the first place is because Dabi was near to death. So his ice on the inside decided to come out on the outside and try to stop him from dying. And with that, Dabi obviously knew he was gonna die, hence the burial outfit in a near episode. And in some part of the anime, Dr. Yujiko even said he was only alive because of his pure hatred for his family and his father. And he knew that if he killed Endeavor and Shoto, he knew he was gonna die, because that would mean using his full strength. And why he even wore a burial outfit in the first place, so they wouldn't even have to change him. And Dabi's flames can come from his emotions and just hatred in general. And wondering though, how is Dabi not even crying or anything from burning up? And it's because he used his quirk way too much that it just makes it numb. His body is so numb because it's not even his own skin. And basically, Dabi can't even feel a thing. It's like a short little tingle. Bad, but also good, because if it's a short little tingle, he can't even feel the burn. But at the same time, it's bad because if he can't feel the burn, then he doesn't know if he's burning himself or not. These flames is around 30,000 heat. It basically sums up everything I have for today, so bye, stay peachy!